This is an idea I actually tried. So I had a podcast about food and travel, right? Like, oh, I've never been to Memphis. Tell me about the food scene there. Where do I need to go? What foods do I need to try? What neighborhoods do I need to go to? Stuff like that. And we hosted the nation's first World Food and Travel Expo. I did it 2 years in a row. It wasn't that big. But we did it twice, before anybody else. I should be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
What's the and travel part?
So it's not about how to eat when you're at home. It's not about how to cook. It's about when you go to a place you've never been, if you're a foodie. So if you were coming to Detroit, what are the signature foods you need to try? What are the restaurants you need to try?
Like the Coney dog.
Yeah, you got to try the Coney when you're here, because it's just kind of the thing when you're here. When you go to Rhode Island, it's the calamari. When you go to San Jose, where I grew up, it's the banh mi. When you go to New Orleans, it's the crawfish and things like that.
So the food and travel expo, but it's in one city. The actual expo, not the podcast.
Expo that was in one city. We did it in Providence, Rhode Island.
So then, do people come from nearby cities on the East Coast, or is it all about that? That year, it's about that.
So what I discovered in the course of doing this, and there's a website up. It's called TasteTrekkers.com. Still going on there. There's this community of food tour operators. These people who run 3-hour walking food tours of a neighborhood. So, you'll pay them $50, $75 or whatever, and they'll take you to 6 shops, coffee shop or pastry shop or restaurant or whatever. You get a sample at each, and they'll tell you the history of the cuisine and how it relates to the food and that kind of stuff. And they're really cool. You go look in TripAdvisor, these things are always rated at the top. People who go on food tours love them, but most people don't know that food tours exist. They've never heard of it. So we would get a lot of these food tour operators to come to the expo and showcase. We had people from Miami, people from Spain, people from, Durham, North Carolina, Chicago, wherever, all talking about the cuisine from their different regions. And so it was this really cool thing. And then the thing that we did afterwards as part of the expo, which I thought about taking on the road, and just didn't have time and bandwidth and energy and money and whatever else to do. But we did do one, was a scavenger hunt. And there are scavenger hunt companies out there, right, that they go from city to city and they run a scavenger hunt. You pay $10 or $50 or whatever it is to compete. So they give you a list of 20 clues. And you have to go to each of these places, and you got to take a selfie in front of the place, right?
In this case, the scavenger hunt has to do with local food. Mm-hmm. Like Coney Island, and then Lloyd's Barbecue.
Exactly.
All the big local ones.
All the big, Noble Fish or whatever the cool places around here are. And Detroit would be a hard town to do it in, because you kind of want to do it all in a walking distance, right? But you might pick a neighborhood and do it. And so you get all these clues about all these different places. You have to go take a selfie in front of each of them, and the first person back with the most right answers, with the most correct selfies would win a prize. And so the concept was to start this up as a business and go from city to city and just do these scavenger hunts with food. And the prize was actually you get a $50 or $100 gift certificate from every restaurant that was or food place that was participating. And so you get $500 worth of food gift certificates. You know what I mean?
Now, since I know this idea exists...
Yes, it is a real idea.
Every time I go somewhere like that, like Lloyd's, I'll take a photo just waiting for your event to start.
Yeah, you want to get a leg up. You want to cheat.
Because if there's a theme, it's easy to cheat.
Right, yes, yeah.
Maybe you have to tell them to show 4 fingers on each photo. That way they can't cheat.
They can't do it. They got to hold the newspaper from that day to let them know that it was...
Or you give them a hologram thing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's pretty
anti-theft, anti-cheating device. I actually suspect that it's possible that one of the teams, when we did this, cheated. That they took a cab, because the rule was you can't cab anywhere or Uber. You had to be on your feet the whole time. So I don't know how you prevent that from happening.
You could give them trackers that
give them a Fitbit.
Yeah, give them a Fitbit.
You got to do enough
It's like
steps.
The opposite of speed. If it goes higher than 20 miles an hour, it explodes. Yeah, it disqualifies
it's like movie
you.
Speed, but as a food scavenger hunt. So that's my concept.
So the scavenger hunt specifically is the concept.
It is the concept.
Okay.
It's a good concept. Somebody should do it. I don't have time.
If the scavenger hunt is happening, do these restaurants put out free samples for the people?
Well, they're supposed to. A lot of them, in practice, forgot that they were doing it. A lot of them didn't tell their employees, and all these people started showing up and taking pictures, and the employees are going, "What's going on? Who are you? Why are you here?" Some of them did.
Yeah. I bet The ones that did are the successful companies, right?
I have no idea. I imagine the ones with good food and successful companies.
It does seem that, like, at least for my podcast, the guys who show up are usually the better guys.
I like to think so.
The guys who work hard.
He said, being the only one here.
So do these companies pay you to promote them as well as the people who do it pay you?
If I were good at it, everybody would pay me. Nike would want to be a sponsor because people would walk.
Do you combine it with, like,
Antacid,
there's like
Pepto-Bismol?
That's a good idea, but like 5K charity runs.
No,
if they're walking around, you might as well.
We did call it the eat and run scavenger hunt, but no, I think having people eat food and then run. I think they're hurrying, but I think having.
But if there's a charity, like their friends before they do it could donate like $5 per destination.
I don't care about curing cancer.
That'll be on the brochure.
Yeah.
We don't care about curing cancer.
No, it's your job.
Hey.
I'm Mike Rich. I was told to come a little early.
I'm Seth.
Hey, you can join in, actually, because we had cancellations, so
Right.
I'm sort of screwed.
Oh,
Right.
okay. All right, man. I'll work it.
So I have a podcast about, like, silly ideas. So his idea, we're still doing it, a scavenger hunt for foodies. So what are the clues like, actually? You didn't tell me what...
I forget what clues.
You don't just tell them where to go. You
give clues. So you've done a scavenger hunt before,
Yeah,
right?
sure,
So
absolutely.
it's a scavenger hunt all over a city, and you got to walk from place to place, and you got to take a selfie of yourself in front of each place. But it's all food related, and you get samples at each place, and so it's for foodies who want to discover stuff. I forget what the clues were, but it was like, it'd be about the history of the place or something. I mean, a lot of people would go, because everybody's got their phone, they go into Google and they look stuff up.
So it's to be like in a particular area, like
Yeah, it would have to
Detroit.
be. Detroit's tough to do in it because everything's so far. This is such a car city. We did it in Providence, Rhode Island. It's much more walkable
Providence.
city.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, there's some communities out here though, right? Like Royal Oak,
Yeah,
or
you could
maybe
do something like that.
Birmingham, and then there's districts within Detroit, like Corktown and Millennium Village, and
Yeah.
that are kind of walkable if you contain within that area.
So you could do that. Yeah, that's my idea. I just take a licensing fee. I get
Boom.
30%. You do all the work.
Hey, stranger things have happened, right?
So it's like Pokemon Go, but you're eating the Pokemon.
Yes, that's exactly how I envisioned it. Yes, it's like Pokemon Go, but you bite Pikachu's head off.
I'm comedian Mike Rich.
I'm comedian Seth Resler.
I'm your host, Tom Walma. This is Creativity Wasted. I have a website, creativitywasted.com, and I also started a Patreon. So if you love the show, consider donating to Patreon.